He stands as one of the most recognizable faces on the planet. Over 150 films, an Academy Award, 7 languages spoken. But behind that global stardom lies a story not glamorous but devastating. A childhood sold for $26. 10 years of brutal training. A skull fractured. Bone piercing his brain. A son imprisoned for drugs. A daughter homeless. Sleeping under bridges. And now, at 71, the ghosts of his failures haunt him louder than applause ever could. If Jackie Chan has ever made you laugh or left you breathless, hit like as tribute to a man who paid for your entertainment with blood and broken bones. It is heartbreaking when the beginning of a legend is marked not by privilege, but by desperation, so severe that parents consider selling their own child. Chan Kong Sang was born April 7, 1954, in Hong Kong, to refugee parents from the Chinese Civil War. His father, Charles, worked as a cook. His mother, Li, as a housekeeper for the French ambassador. They lived in the servants' quarters, cramped and poor, a world away from the opulence just beyond their door. The boy weighed 12 pounds at birth, his mother requiring surgery to deliver him. The hospital bill was more than they had. They were so desperate, they nearly sold their newborn to the doctor for $26 to pay for the delivery. Poverty was merciless. The smell of other people's food wafting through their room while they ate scraps. The sound of the ambassador's children laughing in the gardens while Kong Sang played alone in shadows. Unseen. The feeling of being invisible in a house full of people who looked right through you as if you did not exist. His parents nicknamed him Pow Pow, meaning cannonball, because he was so energetic, bursting with life that could not be contained. He struggled with dyslexia in an era that did not recognize or care about such challenges. Teachers saw only a disruptive child who could not sit still, could not read, could not conform to their rigid expectations. Then came the wound that never healed. When Kong Sang was 7 years old, his parents prepared to leave for Australia to work. They could not afford to bring him along. Instead, they enrolled him at the China Drama Academy, a Peking opera school run by the stern master Yu Jim Yuan. The contract they signed was for 10 full years. It granted Master Yu the right to house, feed, and train the boy. It also granted him the right to administer corporal punishment, even to the point of death, without any legal consequence. When his father asked how long he wanted to stay, the boy, not understanding what he was agreeing to, said forever. He did not know he had just signed away his childhood. Training began at 5 in the morning and lasted until 11 at night. 6 hours of sleep if they were lucky. The rest was pain, discipline, and relentless drilling. They slept on thin mats on carpets encrusted with sweat, blood, and filth from years of young bodies pushed beyond their limits. When they misbehaved, they were beaten with bamboo canes that left welts and bruises. When they fell ill, they were told to push through the sickness and keep practicing. Food was minimal. Bowls of rice and vegetables, just enough to keep their bodies from collapsing, but never enough to satisfy the hunger gnawing at their bellies. Master Yu picked holes in everything they did. Wrong execution. Punishment. Wrong style. Punishment. Wrong energy. Punishment. Wrong attitude. Punishment. Every failure was met with the sting of bamboo, or worse. Kong Sang, renamed Yuan Lo by the school tradition, endured it all with a determination that awed his classmates. They called him Double Boy because he trained twice as hard as anyone else. Master Yu had essentially adopted him at his parents' request, which meant every failure was a double embarrassment, a personal shame. When others made mistakes, Kong Sang was punished twice as hard to set an example. He would later admit, "I lived in hell for 10 years. Every day was suffering. But those years made me who I am. They forged something unbreakable inside me." Those words became scripture. From that day forward, he pushed beyond human limits. The Academy forged friendships with Sammo Hung and Yuan Biao. They became the Seven Little Fortunes, performing at amusement parks. Audiences clapped. Boys bled. Master Yu collected their earnings. It is haunting to think how wide the gap was between dream and reality. When Kong Sang left the academy at 17 in 1971, his father picked him up. The boy shouted, "I am free." But freedom brought new challenges. Peking opera was dying. His skills were obsolete. He worked as a stuntman, a nameless body thrown through windows, kicked downstairs, fingers numbed, knuckles bled. Just another expendable body. Work dried up. He moved to Australia. Did construction. A co-worker named Jack gave him the nickname that stuck. But the dream did not die. In 1976, producer Willie Chan invited him back to Hong Kong. He appeared in films, trying to fill Bruce Lee's void. But audiences did not want another Bruce Lee. Jackie was hurt, miserably, forced to rethink everything. He decided he did not want to become the next Bruce Lee. He wanted to be the first Jackie Chan. He recalled Chaplin and Keaton. What if I take comedy and apply it to martial arts? What if I show the fear, the pain? His breakthrough came in 1978, with Snake in the Eagle's Shadow. Then Drunken Master, where he almost went blind. The films were wildly successful in Asia. "I was born tonight," he whispered, through sobs after the premiere. Finally, people saw him as an original. But success in Asia did not mean success in America. In the early 80s, he tried Hollywood with The Big Brawl and The Protector. Both failed. American directors did not understand his style. He returned to Hong Kong, defeated but not broken. For years, days blurred into nights. He worked relentlessly on films like Project A and Police Story. During Project A, he fell 60 feet from a clock tower, landing on his neck. During Police Story, he slid down a pole through glass, breaking his back, suffering electrical shocks and burns. Every film brought new injuries. Broken nose 4 times, dislocated shoulders, shattered fingers. A broken ankle on Rumble in the Bronx, covered with a fake sneaker to keep filming. Cheap meals, pain that never healed. In 1995, he received the MTV Lifetime Achievement Award from Quentin Tarantino. In '96, Rumble in the Bronx became a cult hit in America. Then Rush Hour in '98 with Chris Tucker. Suddenly, America understood. The film grossed hundreds of millions. Jackie Chan was a global phenomenon. Had I missed that moment, the story might have ended in silence. He later reflected. Success brought wealth and fame beyond imagination. Shanghai Noon. Rush Hour 2. Kung Fu Panda. He became the highest-paid actor in Asia. Yet the price was steep. His body staggered. His mind teetered. And his family crumbled under his absence and mistakes. It is often said that fame reveals character. For Jackie Chan, Fame revealed failures he could never outrun. In 1982, he married Taiwanese actress Joan Lin in a secret ceremony. That year, their son JC was born, but Jackie was rarely home. He admitted, "I was not a good husband or father. I did my duty, but I was absent." His friends whispered, "Poison." They told him Joan was only with him for money. Instead of trusting his wife, he believed them. He restricted her access to his finances. He set up his will to ensure she would get nothing if they divorced. He treated the woman who gave up her career for him like a stranger. In 1999, news broke like a bomb. Jackie had an affair with Elaine Ingyi Lei, a former Miss Asia winner. She was pregnant. The media frenzy was relentless. Jackie thought they would divorce. He thought he had destroyed everything. But Joan surprised him. When he called her, she was calm. She said, "You do not need to explain. I do not want you to hurt her. And I do not want her to hurt us. If you need me to stand by your side, I will. I know you must be feeling awful now. Do not worry about me. I am fine." He stood there, holding the phone, tears streaming. He thought, "You are a real bastard. All these years, you closed yourself off from her, and she is completely open with you." The next day, he changed his will to leave everything to Joan. He would later write, "She is a strong woman, stronger than I am in so many ways." But respect did not erase the damage he had done. The affair produced a daughter, Etta Ingchok Lam, born January 18, 1999. Jackie cut off all contact with Elaine when he learned of the pregnancy. He never acknowledged Etta publicly. He never sent money or support. He never visited, never called, never once reached out to see the child he had brought into the world. She grew up without a father, knowing only that the world-famous Jackie Chan was her biological parent, but wanted absolutely nothing to do with her existence. In 2015, a 15-year-old Etta told a reporter with the pain of a lifetime of rejection in her voice, "He is not my dad. I have no feelings for him. He is my biological father, but he is not in my life. He never existed in my life." Etta and her mother struggled in grinding poverty, while Jackie lived in mansions and drove luxury cars. Elaine faced financial hardship and public scrutiny. Raising a child alone in the shadow of a man worth hundreds of millions who refused to help, Etta suffered relentless bullying at school for being the unacknowledged daughter of a celebrity. The child, he denied. She faced abuse at home, reportedly enduring harsh physical punishment and emotional isolation from a mother overwhelmed and bitter about being abandoned. As a teenager, Etta began to rebel against the pain. She called the police on her mother twice. Desperate for someone to intervene, she resorted to self-harm, cutting her wrists, trying to make the emotional pain visible. In 2018, she came out as a lesbian and married Andy Autumn, seeking love and acceptance she had never known. When they moved to Hong Kong, hoping for family support, Elaine bailed them out of jail after they defaulted on rent. But when Andy refused to find work, Elaine finally reached her limit and kicked them both out of her home. Etta and Andy fled to Canada, claiming they were homeless due to homophobic parents who rejected them. In a desperate YouTube video, Etta said, with trembling voice, "We have been homeless for a month. We slept under a bridge and other things. We went to the police, to hospitals, to food banks, to shelters, and no one cares. No one will help us. In 2022, she was photographed in Toronto, queuing for free food at a community relief station. A shocking image of Jackie Chan's daughter begging for meals. By 2025, reports emerged that she had been living in a homeless shelter for over 400 days, working occasional part-time shifts at a restaurant, with no stable employment and almost no social connections. She had ended her troubled relationship with Andy and cut all ties with her mother. She had no plans to ever return to Hong Kong. Meanwhile, Jackie's son JC also spiraled. Growing up in his father's shadow, JC struggled to establish his own identity. He pursued music and acting, but never achieved significant success. The hardest part is to let people know what I am capable of doing on my own, he said. In August 2014, Beijing police arrested JC during an anti-drug crackdown. They found over 100 grams of marijuana in his apartment. He admitted to using for 8 years. The irony was devastating. Jackie Chan was an official anti-drug ambassador. Now his son was in jail for drugs. Jackie released a statement. When I first heard the news, I was absolutely enraged. As a public figure, I feel very ashamed. As his dad, I am very sad and disappointed. His name is Jackie Chan. But the person who feels heartbroken the most is his mom. JC was sentenced to 6 months in prison. After his release, he bowed deeply at a press conference. I broke the law and should be punished. I made mistakes. I will remember this lesson. I am genuinely sorry. The scandal destroyed his career. He lost endorsements worth millions and kept a low profile for years. Jackie himself carried scars that would never heal. The worst injury came on Armor of God in 1986. Filming in Yugoslavia, he had to jump from a castle wall onto a tree branch. The first take was perfect, but Jackie wanted to do it again. Earlier that day, he drank beer on camera for continuity. On the second take, the branch snapped. He fell 20 to 40 feet, head slamming into a rock. My whole body was numb, he recalled. Blood spurted from his ear. His skull had fractured. A piece of bone had pierced his brain. Emergency surgery lasted 8 hours. I almost died. He spent only 7 days in recovery before returning to finish the film. The injury left permanent hearing loss and a depression in his skull. By his 60s, decades of stunts had left him shattered. Broken breastbone, broken ankle, broken nose 4 times, dislocated pelvis, damaged spine, injured chin, knee, fingers, teeth, almost every part broken or torn. With his wife Joan, he found not redemption, but quiet understanding. She stood by him through affairs, scandals, long absence. She raised their son largely alone. She endured public humiliation with grace. Jackie came to see her strength as the foundation he had taken for granted. Now, at 71, Jackie Chan stands as a living paradox. A man who made the world laugh while his family fell apart. He owns properties worldwide, classic cars, a net worth of $400 million. Yet what defines him is not what he owns, but what he lost. His daughter, living in poverty in Canada. His son rebuilding after scandal. A body held together by scars. A legacy tainted by choices he can never undo. Yet, he continues. He funds schools in poor regions of China. He established the Jackie Chan Charitable Organization. He received an honorary Academy Award in 2016. Standing on stage with tears, thanking fans, his stunt team, his family. I love cinema. I will continue to entertain you as long as my body allows. But in quiet moments, the ghosts return. The daughter, he abandoned. The son, he failed. The wife he betrayed. The father he could have been. He admits, I was selfish. I did not know how to empathize with others. I have made mistakes that many men make, but that does not make them right. Applause fades. Trophies gather dust. But the people you hurt, the children you neglect, these endure. From a boy sold for $26 to a global icon worth hundreds of millions, from 10 years of hell to a lifetime achievement. Oscar, his life teaches us that success does not erase pain, that fame does not heal wounds, that you can have the world's applause and still lose the people who matter most. If this story has touched your heart, leave a tribute below, not to the stunts or films, but to the man beneath the bruises, the father who failed, the human who kept trying, even when redemption seemed impossible. And wherever life finds you tonight, may you be blessed with wisdom to cherish the people you love before it is too late. Courage to face your failures with honesty, and grace to know that wealth and fame are hollow without the bonds that truly sustain us.